My understanding is whatever we didn't own in our last life comes back stronger.
It does. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, Melinda. The reason I say this is because I'm a reader of the Akashic Records, because I see past lives, because I can recognize patterns, not just in this life, but in former lives. I'm not kidding when I tell you my son had an issue with that in his former life. And there's a reason why.
Hmm.
I have an issue with those people in this life.
Hmm.
That is why he chose me as his mom. And that is why he's my son. When I tell you that lesson yesterday was so eye-opening, I was like, so
Hmm.
there's something in his previous life and mine that brought us together this one. So I'm like, all right, let's go. It's not going to be a battlefield. It's going to be a field of learning. We're planting new seeds. We're not going to do what all my ancestors have done, where it's been battlefields, battlefields, battlefields. Nope. We're coming in as soldiers and we're fixing it. So knowing and being aware of all that stuff, trust, that's why I said it's a gift that I am so thankful for. Like being able to see things beyond this dimension, you know? So with that being said, let's get into our higher dimension. We're going to go to the solar plexus today. So deep breath in, deep exhale. I had quite a day yesterday, guys. Anybody who's listening, that is life. These experiences happen for growth. These experiences happen for us to shift. Anytime you are given an experience that is uncomfortable, it is a gift. It has been given to you so that you may shift. When an experience is given to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this. I don't need this. Why is this happening? Shift your perception to, I'm being given this gift to recognize something in me that needs to be shifted. I'm being this gift. I'm feeling these feelings because it is helping me acknowledge a place where I need to recognize, a place that I need growth, a place that I need to see me. Experiences are gifts. As we're grounding, connecting our energy. Solar plexus. That is the yellow chakra, 2 inches above your belly button, right between your heart and your belly. The reason this one is yellow is it's your sunshine. It's your joy. It's your life's purpose. All those things that you get nudges to do, the wants and desires of your heart, and not the ones led by ego. I need that car. I need that home. I need that person in my life. No, I really enjoy painting. I enjoy painting and sharing these paintings with others and making them smile. I really want to sing. I really enjoy singing. I don't know where that's going to take me or what it's going to do, but I just know that my heart wants to sing. So I'm going to sing. I really, really want to be a mom. I don't know why. I just have that desire in my heart and I want to be a mom. All these wants, desires, I could go on and on and on and on. They are put there for a reason. I used to say wants and desires were put in your heart, but now I truly believe wants and desires are put in your solar plexus chakra. This is what brings us joy. This is what makes us happy. This is what helps keeps us centered in this dimension. This is what helps us find our path. We didn't come down here to work. We did not come down here to be angry, depressed, sad, all of those things. We came down here to be happy, to experience, and to help others. My guides just said I'm a big fat liar. We did come down here to be sad. We did come down here. We came down here to experience all of it. They just said all of it, because without the dark, we can't know the light, but we are not meant to stay in that vibration. So please let me correct their message. We are down here to experience everything, but we are not meant to live in that misery and that sadness. Ringing in my ear. They are happy I corrected. We are down here to be joyful and find the joy in those dark times. By doing that, we raise our vibration. By doing that, others see that it's possible to raise their vibration. Just by listening to that beat of your drum. Just by feeling that flame in your solar plexus and your sacral. Just by feeling the warmth from that fire inside of your body. That is what you need to do. That is what you need to focus on. Everything else will fall into place. This chakra spins a little faster than the sacral. And if you could imagine, as we're moving up, when we get to the heart, the heartbeat, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. So just a little slower than that and a little faster than the sacral. Wah, 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 wah. That is about the speed your solar plexus chakra should be spinning. No one is going to balance any of these but you guys. No one can balance any of these but us and our choices that we make. I'm going to take the next few minutes, guides, ancestors, ascended masters of the highest vibration. Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything that we need to know? Anything to help us with this chakra or with anything that's going on in our lives right now? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. You just stay in your space. So, what I saw when I went up into my space was I heard that Taylor Swift song again. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And then I saw Liam and I walking in the clouds. I was holding his hand and we were walking, and they were like, you need to spend more time with him. He's very, he needs it. He's needy. He needs that time. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I even talked to I took when I took the kids late to school because Karina put me in comatose, and I walked Luna in. I talked to one of her teachers, and she was like, "You don't ever have to worry about Luna. Like Luna will be fine." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that. Like she's yeah." And I always have to be careful too because, like I said, I feel like I'm always correcting Liam. So I know there's something there also. You know what I mean? So just treading lightly. And it's yesterday, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, for anybody who's listening who has kids, like I literally sat there and I was like, why did I do this? Why did you have kids? Why did you think that you could do why did you think you could do a better job than your parents? Like, look at this situation your ego got in. I was like, I'm gonna do so much better than my parents. I'd be so much better. I'm gonna do this different, and I'm gonna do this different. I'm gonna do that different. And then it's like, listen, wake up. What an eye-opening experience. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna lie. Those were the emotions I was going through yesterday. Like, why did I do this? What am I doing? Like, because that fear, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my gosh. So grateful for you ladies and these meditations, because swear to God, it's what kept me, like, I just went into my space for the last 4 hours. I didn't get shit done at work, and I sure did have a whole box to put out, but I was like, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna calm my energy. And that's what I did. For 4 hours, I calmed my energy. And when I tell you, the conversation was so productive because Todd had already talked to him. And I said to Todd, like, what'd you get? He's like, nothing. He just cried. So being able to get the whole story because I didn't attack him, like calming my energy before I went like into mom mode. Um, yeah, but then also your solar plexus guys. So that's just what I heard. It was like, hey, more time. And it does come down to me and my parenting. But at the end of the day, too, they remind you kids are kids. Like I said, I have this one friend who's like always reading to her child, da da da, but this kid is like out of control. And I'm like, and I feel so bad because everybody's thinking, oh, his parents. That you know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, their parents and they're not teaching them right. Da, 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 da. So I was like, so you tried to, and it's all this judgment. So even me, I'm trying to release judgment against the school administrators. I'm trying to release a judgment against all the trauma that I've had. And that's why they said healing your inner child while you're raising children is wow. It's just wow. So at the end of the day, though, this is tied to your solar plexus. Because remember, as long as you're walking in your purpose and walking in your light and staying focused on that, it really does shift everything. Do you know what I mean? So I asked myself, like, what kind of my life's purpose? What is it? It is, one of my soul contracts is to be a mom to these two kids. I signed that in my contract, right? So now I have to remember that. That's one of my life's purposes. How am I going to walk forward with that? In love and light, because here came the rain. Da da da. Oh my God, it was so funny, guys. When I was like, we're not here to feel pain, they were like, I literally heard, yeah, you are. So you need to correct that because yes, you are. Like, we absolutely came down here to feel that. That's why people choose to be homeless. That's why people choose to get things, you know what I mean?
All
That
of it.
we're like, oh my God, we did choose that. We did come to feel pain. We did. So that is part of our soul's journey and our human's journey and the avatar's journey. So did anybody else want to share? Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, but from your story now, it makes me sit back and think, right, I'm not going to make any assumptions until I've actually spoken to my child, because you spent a lot of hours like thinking the what, not the worst, because obviously you were going to speak to Liam, but it also, how we get so worked up, and then we're like, and what am I going to say, and I need to be calm, and it's like, do you know what, from you telling us this now, in future when something happens, I'm actually like, I'm not going to think the worst, I'm not going to make any assumptions, I'm just going to wait, and I'm going to speak to my child first and see the full story, because
Yes.
in your heart that your child is not like that, and he honestly isn't. So let's hear the full story before we sit for a couple of hours thinking shit. Yeah.
The first hour, that's what it was. The first, because like I said, he's said and done other things that I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is something from his past life. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, all right. But also, like I said, when but when you let fear and anger take over, it's like, I would I wouldn't have given him the opportunity. I would have just come home and corrected. You don't do that. This is why you don't do that. What's wrong with you? Oh, but like, why would you say something like that? Instead, it was like, can you tell me the whole story? Because I know you're not an asshole. And I know. My friend sent me a whole list of how to raise your kids not to be racist. And I laughed. I was like, check, 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 check. And not only that, but we speak 3 languages in this house. They hear me speaking Korean. They hear me speaking Spanish. And it's because when you're talking in front of your kids and you don't, most people spell things, I have the benefit of speaking in another language. So when I don't want the kids to hear something, I talk to my parents in Korean or Spanish, and we do it all the time. So they hear this, you know what I mean? Like, Luna saw a picture. My friend posted a picture of her and one of her friends who was Black. And Luna goes, is that grandpa? And I was like, no, that's my friend's friend. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get that he was defending his friend, but you know how kids, they'll just say what comes out of their mouth. But I had to let him know, you don't need to defend your friends unless they need, like, stay. That's the first thing. And that's true. And we do that as adults. Stay out of a grown-up's business. I have friends right now that aren't talking, and I'm just like, I stay out of it. When this one says, I change the subject. When this one says, I change the subject. I like both of them. They don't like each other. I can't do anything about that. And I don't try to convince them to like each other. I don't say to her, well, maybe you should. I don't say to her, well, maybe you should. I stay the fuck out of it. Why? Because I've learned from the past, stay the fuck out of it.
Yeah, because you'll be the one ending up not being, they won't be friends with you.
Stay out of it.
Yeah.
Let people fight their own battles. Now, if your friend's getting his face pummeled and he's getting jumped and he's getting physically hurt, yeah, that's when you step in. But when somebody's saying words, I told him, you don't spit out other words. You don't bring that energy to you. And I explained karma to them. I explained what you give is what you get. I'm like, do you want people to continue to make fun of your eyebrow? Do you want people to continue? He's got some thick eyebrows. Homeboy's already got a mustache. I'm like, do you want people to point out your physical stuff? I go, so then I do not do that to others. I go, the damage that you will do to their heart, to their self-esteem, to their soul. You know what I mean? I was like, don't ever. I'd rather you just say, shut up. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't like you saying shut up. But if somebody's saying something mean to your friend, I'd rather you just tell that person, shut up. You know what I mean? You don't come back with being mean. You don't match mean with mean. And that's kind of how I explained it. But yeah. But honestly, this, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. The shift that I had yesterday, I got goosebumps right now. The shift that I had yesterday as a parent, I was given an opportunity to shift.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pat myself on the back and say I'm proud. I'm proud of myself because I could have. Katie, I just came out of my space. So, oh, sorry, Katie. That's why I feel bad too when we start talking and people are still in their space. So yeah, just mute us if you guys are still in your space and then come back on. so that you can, continue to hear what you hear. But I love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I
Because
just want to jump in and say one thing. I went through a phase for 6 years where I'm like, I'm going to give back people whatever they give me, period. I call it Black Ratty phase. It was a dismal failure, on every level,
please preach.
except
Please
for
preach.
the fact that I learned so much from that. I'll never be that person again, right? There was my growth. So good on Liam. At least he's after it, if
Yes.
you know what I mean.
And I was proud of the fact that he told me the truth, because he does have a tend to lie because he's always being corrected. Do you know what I mean? And that was why I knew I had to come in soft. But you want to come in soft anyway. And even though I say that, and I know that there are times when they make mistakes where I don't, your natural reaction is, what? Why'd you do that? So yeah,
And
Melinda.
if I may too, I wanna commend you, and I also wanna just share a little tidbit that I learned from a podcast just recently. Dr. Becky Kennedy, she's a child psychologist, and one of the biggest takeaways for me is connect before correct. And you had mentioned about Liam being, like a highly sensitive kid. My two youngest are boys, and they're both going through a lot of stuff right now, especially some like heavy emotional mental health stuff. And I have had to have my ego checked in the same way. It's not about race, but it's about the stuff they're going through. It's about the pain that they're feeling. And I feel like because of the inner child shit I had going on and still am working through, we bring that programming with us into our adulthood and into our parenting. And I feel like my ego for the longest time was, oh my gosh, what are people going to think about me as a parent? Just like you mentioned about your friend, because that is what we do. Unfortunately, we all will judge. We all will criticize. Oh, I can't believe that kid said that, or look at the way that kid's behaving. Where are his parents, right? That's what we do. However, when we have these moments of opportunity to really reflect and look at these situations and connect with our kids, you really see it's a child that really wants and yearns for that connection.
Yes.
With especially with a parent that will take and make the time.
Yeah.
And because we may not have had that, we are able to then say, whoa, pump the brakes. This is what I need to do. I don't need to worry about what these other people are thinking and saying. I need to do my main responsibility, which is to tend to this child in their growth and help them reach their potential. And I'll be honest, Liam, kudos to him for standing up for his friend. I know you said no, don't interject. Personally, as a mom, I would be so flippin' proud of that. Maybe that the language or the way he twisted it, but he is so young. He's in kindergarten.
Yes.
We know adults that don't know how to conduct themselves. And the fact that he knew right from wrong to the level of this person is being made fun of and that's not okay. He received your lesson. He knows it's not okay. That's why he spoke up. You are doing your job.
One of my friends told me to take him for ice cream. She was like, what? You need to take him for ice cream. I was like, no, I'm not taking him for ice cream. But yeah, Lydia just said Dr. Becky is great. What was that doctor's name again?
Dr. Becky Kennedy. She has a podcast.
Okay, I'm going to look it up.
And a book called Good Inside.
No, I'm going to listen to her podcast because honestly, yesterday I was like, okay, I need help. And what did you say, Heather? Literally, what did my guide say? That Taylor Swift song, me, I'm the problem, it's me. They're like, it is you. Because like you said, that programming. And can I tell you something? The school district that my kid is in, this is the school district that started the first time I was called a chink. All the racial shit that I went through was this school district. I know none of this is by accident. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, the teacher, I didn't even respond to the teacher because I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think she's a fan of me. But again, I don't give a fuck. And that's what's so crazy, Heather. My first thing was like, I didn't, in the past, I would have been like, oh my God, what does she think of me as a mom? But I was like, I don't give a fuck what she thinks. And that's what also helped too, me say, no, I don't trust her. I'm going to get the whole story from my kid first. Cause that was the other thing too. I was like, I don't trust her. I had sent her an email about Liam being marked absent when he was tardy, never responded to me, but then responded only to tell me about the situation. And then the way she made Liam look like a racist, I was like, that also helped me analyze. And I was glad that I didn't respond to her. And I told you guys I'm done after last year. I forwarded to Todd. I said, you respond. So if you ever listen to this, Miss Teacher, ma'am, let me tell you, your approach, you need to work on your bedside manner as a doctor, teacher, whatever it is. Your approach is not well. And ma'am, I'm an intuitive. I felt your energy. So I don't care what you think about me, ma'am. But you need to work on how you talk about the kids in your school to their parents. And you need to get the whole story before you email parents about their children, ma'am. Okay.
Well, that's the number one thing I think a huge takeaway for all of us adults, is to be curious, to not be reactive. I mean, that's one thing we talk about in meditation now. We're talking throat chakra the other day, everything. Like, before you react, before you speak, stop, think, get curious, reflect. Because it's our fight or flight nature. And if we're programmed to be fighters, then guess what's coming out? Guns are blazing, fisticuffs coming up, instead of taking the time and being able to calm ourselves, and be able to actually reflect. And I think, that's the key, is to take that moment and get curious and ask the questions. Don't just assume that the teacher's right just because she's an adult. So I think, bravo to you. Though it was turmoil, I'm sure. I know how that was on a mom's heartstrings. But
oh man, I'm telling you, my contact even popped out. So not only was I blind, I had all kinds of shit going on yesterday. I posted on my YouTube my mediumship lesson with my mentor, not the podcast. It was a private conversation, a 40-minute private conversation. Somebody messaged me like, Kim, you posted a private conversation on your YouTube. I was like, what? Thank God I messaged Chanel. And let me tell you why you don't talk about people. That was a 40-minute conversation. Let me tell you, we got caught with our pants down and there was nothing to see. We don't talk. I was like, thank God. Thank God. I mentioned
you heard "We Don't Talk About Bruno" the other day song in your mind. There you go.
Yes, we don't talk about Bruno because you might end up posting that publicly. I posted 7 people watched that podcast. When I tell you the panic, I was out in my car when the girl sent me the message. I ran into Hair City. People at Dick's were like, what the fuck? I was like, trying to get to my laptop. I was like, delete. And I was like, oh my God. So yesterday after that happened, I just sat in the store for 4 hours and I was like, I'm just going to sit here in my space, figure out. I'm just going to sit here today.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how I got home. I was driving like this. I'm like blind, guys. I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing that again. But yeah, thank you.
I have a quick comment that I want to add. I'm going to pull him and stick up for my friend, because don't you ever second guess why you are a mom or any of that, because you are an incredible mom. And I'm going to try saying it, but
you're going to make me cry.
So many strengths. Like, we all have our parts and all of it that we're not spot on with, but you are an incredible mom and I'm so proud of you and I love you so much. And I'm crying and I just fucking did my makeup.
Made me cry. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
But I don't want you to ever second guess why you are where you are, the family that you have, because you are exactly where you need to be, providing these kids an amazing life. And I love you.
Thank you. And that's why I say, even though you know that, like you have those moments, because yesterday I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's like my worst nightmare. It's my kid being the dickhead. You know what I mean? So it did make me feel good knowing that he was defending someone. So I'm like, okay, doesn't make what you said okay, but that's why my friend was like, so thank you also the other Heather for pointing that out too. And I'm gonna look up Dr. Becky, because I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, how do you, even though you know the things, I've never been a mom. So even though I know these things, you don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't, and my ego is still running the show. You know what I mean? My ego, my feelings, my hurt, like Heather said, all these things, like my childhood trauma. I have to make sure she doesn't talk. I have to make sure, and another thing that Heather said too, like what I brought out a good point, and is like how like the adults, like when you have a situation with a friend too, you know what I mean? So I was able to do that with the adults. So I'm glad that it shifted, because you don't think about that when you're like thinking of kids. You look at them on a different level. I mean, I do anyway, like at a different level. So it was nice to like be like, okay, because with your friends, you'd be like, let me get the whole story. You know what I mean? But it's like with my kid, I'm like, no. So connecting before correcting. And that's exactly what I did yesterday, Heather. When you said that, I'm like, that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm gonna ask him first. And it was so cool because he gave me the whole story, because I didn't yell at him. He wasn't scared. I was like, hey, buddy, instead of me coming home and being like, what the hell? What the hell? Again, I could say it over and over and over and over again. I love you guys so much. I love you guys. So thank you. Thank you for helping me be the best person I can be. Because yeah, this life has definitely shifted in the last 3.5 years for me. And when I tell you it just gets better and better, I just don't even know how to explain it. So thank you guys so much. I love you all. And I'll see you Monday.
Bye,
I love you
girl.
guys.